Welcome back. You're watching Midcap Radar here on CNBC TV18 and continuing with our coverage on sugar stocks, which are in focus after the government reversed its decision to ban the use of juice for ethanol making. To discuss this and more, we are being joined by Atul Chaturvedi, the Executive Chairman at Shree Renuka Sugars. Mr. Chaturvedi, very good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining in. What does this new move mean for the industry, Mr. Chaturvedi? Earlier, only B-molasses and C-molasses could be used, but now companies can use sugar juice as well.
No, I would put the record straight. In fact, initially, when the first notification came, it meant that cane juice ethanol was totally banned for production of ethanol. But subsequently, government saw reason, and then they decided that ultimately the objective is to reduce the diversion of sugar into ethanol. So initially, we were penciling in a diversion of about close to about 3.8 million tons, which the government now has pegged to about 170 or 1.7 million tons. So about 1.7 million tons of sugar diversion would take place. So in fact, the first notification was a bolt from the blue, and the second one looks much more reasonable. And the objective of the government to ensure that adequate sugar is available in the country is bound to be met. But the only thing is that this would probably mean another 2 million tons of sugar getting added into the inventory at the end of the year. So which means the current level was about 5.7 we started, and now it will close at around closer to about 8 million tons. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what is the indication for production next year, Mr. Chaturvedi? Because there's still fear about lower sugar production, right? So if 1.7 million tons does get diverted to ethanol, the rest is used for sugar production itself. What is the production number we are looking at? And subsequently, what would it do to pricing of sugar?
In fact, what we were penciling in initially was that sugar, after diversion of about 3.8 million tons for ethanol, the production would be closer to about 29 million tons. And now with the addition of this 2 million tons, because the sugar diversion has been reduced, now the overall picture would be anywhere between 31 to 31.5 million tons. And our domestic consumption is only about 28.5. And we must also remember that we also had a carry in of about 5.7 million tons. So India is adequately covered as far as sugar is concerned, and India is heavily insulated from whatever is happening in the rest of the world. So Indian consumer can breathe easy and continue to eat sugar, which is available at a very place. Yeah.
If they continue to eat sugar, for sure, if they can afford it. So what does that do to pricing, Mr. Chaturvedi, was my next question actually. What is the current prices and where do you see them going by the end of FY24, if you can share that with us?
No, in fact, if you look at the world values are also now coming under pressure, because whether we like it or not, Brazil has had a fantastic crop. Brazil numbers are now being talked about at about 630 million tons of cane, and sugar production is around anywhere between 41 to 42 million tons. So there is adequate sugar available in the world. And the only blip was that India was out of the world market as far as sugar exports are concerned. So in terms of pricing domestically, my take is that Indian consumer has been pampered quite a lot. And our values would be about anywhere between 36 to 37 rupees a kilo. At the ex-factory level, whereas international values would be anywhere between 65 to 68 rupees a kilo. So Indian consumers heavily cushioned, and we don't see this values moving northwards even once we go into the off-season months. So Indian values, because we will have adequate stocks available.
Okay, so there's an expectation of an ethanol pricing as well today, Mr. Chaturvedi. What is the expectation? Will we see a hike? Is there any indication of what the hike would be?
No, the industry has been interacting with the government for increasing, because if the government wants more and more C-molasses ethanol to get diverted into ethanol, it's important that the molasses usage as far as ethanol is concerned needs to be suitably incentivized. So what we are actually hearing is, and it's all unconfirmed, that the C-molasses prices could see a serious upward revision. So that would ensure that more and more C-molasses would get diverted into ethanol. It could be anywhere between 57, 58, 59, or 60, but that the answer can better come from somebody who's the one responsible for that decision making. But that's the industry request and requirement.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Chaturvedi, for sparing time and joining us this afternoon. We wish you good luck for the remainder of the year. That was the management of Shree Renuka Sugars. Time for a short break here on Midcap Radar. Up next, we get you a conversation with Bhanu Chopra from Rate Gain Travel, who will join us to share his business outlook for the company. Stay tuned.